Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dorset Police and Crime Panel Complaints Subcommittee. My name is Councillor Bill Pipe. I shall be chairing this meeting up until agenda item 10. I'd like to introduce, well, the other members will introduce themselves, and after they've introduced themselves, I will ask the officers who are in attendance to introduce themselves too. So, Councillor Bobby Dove, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. I'm Councillor Bobby Dove, BCP Council, and I'm also the Vice Chair of the Police Crime Panel.
Thank you. I'm Councillor Les Fry from Dorchester West, a member of Dorset Council.
Thank you very much. Officers in attendance, would you introduce yourselves, please?
Morning, everybody. I'm Mark Eyre. I'm the Service Manager for Assurance for Dorset Council, and Dorset Council is the host authority for the Police and Crime Panel.
Good morning, I'm Tony Bygrave, Senior Assurance Officer, and I run the complaints team for Dorset Council.
Thank you, Anthony. Elaine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. I'm Elaine Tibble. I'm Senior Democratic Services Officer.
Thank you very much. Are there any other officers who I have not mentioned or who haven't introduced themselves yet? No? Okay. For the purposes of this meeting, it's my intention to appoint a vice chairman in case we have any fallout from Wi-Fi. And I have a nomination for Councillor Bobby Dove of Bournemouth, Poole and Christchurch Council. Do I have a seconder for that, please?
Yes, Councillor Les Fry, I will second that nomination.
And Councillor Dove, are you happy to take that role?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Bobby Dove is hereby appointed Vice Chairman for this meeting, and who will in fact take over from item 10. Do we have any apologies? Item 1 on the agenda, apologies anywhere?
Yes, we have 2 apologies. We have an apology from Ian McPhee and Councillor Gorringe.
Thank you very much. Item 2 on the agenda are the minutes of the subcommittee dated the 24th of September 2019. Is it the members wish that I sign these as a true and correct record? Bearing in mind, Councillor Bobby Dove, you're the only one here at this subcommittee who was present at that meeting.
Yes, I'm happy to confirm the true and accurate record. Thank you. Thank
you very much. I will sign those. Declarations of interest, item number 3. In the interest of openness and transparency in relation to agenda item 10, I wish it to be known that I have received communication from the complainant, which does not affect in any way any preconceptions contained within agenda item 10. Any other declarations of interest from members? None at all, thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is public participation. Do we have any public participation?
No, there are no questions from the public.
Okay, item 5, which is the annual review of the complaints protocol. Could I ask Mark Eyre to give an overview of this agenda item, please? Mark.
Thanks, Chair. So it's Mark Eyre, Service Manager for Assurance. Just really going to give a bit of a very brief background on the complaints protocol, just really to confirm that it largely follows the national guidance. There's some slight amendments in that which reflect localised arrangements and some enhancements that were added last year following the meeting of the subcommittee. So in that respect, back in August 2019, based on the lessons learned from one of the complaints that the committee had looked at, there were a number of changes made to the protocol. The main amendment in that respect was around ensuring greater transparency, and that was by ensuring that the chair and the vice chair were cited on complaints at an early stage. So that's the background I was going to present. Thank you.
Okay. The protocol is lacking in some respects, and I would like a quick overview from you, Mark, if you would, on a proposal which I will put forward to adopt the protocol as I've lost my words. I do beg your pardon. Covering vexatious, malicious or repetitive complaints, which is embedded within a policy adopted by Dorset Council and used by Dorset Council, and I would propose that that policy be embedded within our protocols. Are you able to give a quick outline on that protocol as held currently by Dorset Council, the host authority?
Thanks, Chair. I mean, first of all, I think the protocol itself at 2.2, it does reference vexatious behaviour, but where the document perhaps isn't clear is on how someone is determined as vexatious and how that process should be managed. Perhaps what I'll do at this stage, because your recommendation was that we actually build in to that protocol that the host authorities protocols are followed for managing vexatious behaviour. So I'll just at this stage bring Anthony Bygrave into the conversation. He can perhaps give a bit of background as to how the Dorset Council manages such instances.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Anthony, please.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Chair. I'm Anthony Bygrave, Senior Assurance Officer for Complaints. As frontline staff at Dorset Council, we're touched quite a lot by some of the impacts of unreasonable behaviour. It goes by many names. Some call it vexatious, certainly repetitive, and it can have quite a detrimental effect to staff well-being. And I think probably the councillors also are impacted perhaps by some of the repetition of what we consider to be unreasonable behaviour. The policy and protocol adopted by Dorset Council very much features an even-handed approach, something that isn't knee-jerk. If we feel that people are demonstrating unreasonable behaviour, we will put a panel together which will involve usually myself or Mark, a representative of the directorate concerned, and usually legal advice, so we can have an impartial view as to whether or not it actually qualifies to the criteria. The policy and protocol also go into the criteria in quite a robust way, so we're quite clear as to what actually constitutes unreasonable behaviour in the first place and whether or not criteria is being met. So I think the key thing is the even-handed approach and a really firm set of principles in managing behaviours to a conclusion, and in some cases single points of contact being brought in to ensure that we're not missing anything and we're consistent in our approach with dealing with the concerns.
Thank you very much. Open to members for any comments.
Thank you. I'm content with that, Councillor Pipe.
Thank you. Any comments, Councillor Dove?
No, thank you. I think the rationale, and I think we've been reassured that the model adopted will be sound, will be robust, and these decisions are not made lightly. So thank you.
Okay then. So that's. Do any officers wish to say any more at this point?
Chair, if I could, not in terms of the protocol, the vexatious complaining issue, but just generally, I think one very small enhancement we could look to make would be within the points of contact for complainants, is that we add within there the ability to send the complaint electronically and include within that the email contact for myself.
Yeah, eminently sensible, something which we should adopt. To formally recommend from the chair that we introduce into the protocol of the Police and Crime Commissioner Complaint Subcommittee protocol the policy of the host authority. Do I have a seconder for that?
I'm happy to second that.
Can we just add, sorry, I agree. Can we just add obviously to that proposal that we also adopt or we include the email link for people to contact us?
Yeah, okay.
Or that's two separate recommendations, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'll do a separate recommendation.
Okay.
So
sorry.
as far as the first recommendation goes, I've proposed it. I have a seconder, which by my math says that at least 2 people are in favour of it. Would you like to make a third, Councillor Dove?
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
So that recommendation is passed, and
I'll second Bobby's proposal as well.
Okay, so that an email contact is incorporated within the protocol to allow complainants the use of this facility. Is everybody happy with that?
Chair, does that have to be an individual's email address, or is there a generic one that is created that is linked to 1 or 2 people, or whatever the number is, that can contact and access that email address? I'm just conscious that people have a habit of moving on within the council.
Yeah, I understand that it will be a static generic email address. If I could just confirm that with Mark Hare. Mark, could you confirm that?
I can confirm that, Chair. There's a dedicated email address for the policing panel, which would come through to myself.
Okay. So I too am in favour of that. So that also has passed as a recommendation. Thank you for that. Does anybody else have anything to say whatsoever on the that agenda item 5?
No, thank you.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 6, which is the
Chair, you might want to comment the fact that Councillor Barry Gorringe has now joined the meeting. I understand.
He has indeed. Councillor Gorringe.
Yes, Chair.
You can participate from agenda item 6, and you're most welcome. I'm sorry that you had a really hard time trying to get into the meeting. I believe that's down to not particularly IT, but the availability of Wi-Fi. Would I be correct?
Well, there's been an issue with Teams this morning, so
okay.
I'm not the only councillor that's had the problem apparently, so I'm not alone.
Anyway, welcome.
Thank you.
We're now on agenda item 6, which is the subcommittee terms of reference. Open to members. Do officers wish to comment at this stage?
I'll just, if I could just make one point, Chair. I mean, the terms of reference were updated very slightly last year, which was just to introduce that we will have an annual meeting of the complaints subcommittee, even if there are no complaints to consider, just as an opportunity to review policies and practices based on any lessons learned during the year.
Yeah, I do note actually they are a robust set of terms of reference, and I'm quite happy as they stand at the moment. Do other members wish to comment?
No, it's Councillor Les Fry. I'm comfortable with those terms of reference. I think they're fit for purpose.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Fry. Councillor Dove?
Yes, I agree. Obviously, we took part in updating them last year, and they're still very relevant today. So thank you.
They are indeed. Agenda item 7: update on complaints thus far. Mark.
Thanks, Chair. Essentially, no current complaints to actually mention at this point, other than the one that we will be discussing as part of exempt business. So nothing further to declare other than that.
Okay, thank you very much. Members happy with that?
Councillor Fry, yes.
Right, item 8, urgent items. I do not have any urgent items. item 9 on the agenda is exempt business. So I move that the complaints subcommittee move into exempt business in accordance with the Localism Act, and therefore ask that all members of the public and the press be excluded from the meeting from now. Thank you.